Are you chasing your dreams or are you stuck in a loop? A silent waiting room between who you are and who you wish you could be. For many, they scroll through social media, they watch others launch their businesses, they watch others speak on stages, they watch others write books, they watch others travel the world, and inside, there's a quiet ache and a lingering question. Why not me? But the problem isn't that they didn't have a dream. You see, the underlying issue is instead of moving, they wait. And maybe that's where you are today. Waiting for clarity, waiting for confidence, waiting for the right time to magically show up and say, now you're ready. But here's a truth I discovered 2 years ago. It changed my life and it'll change yours too. You don't find your dream, you grow into it. The dream you have is not out there hiding like some buried treasure. It's already inside of you, but maybe it's buried beneath doubt. Maybe you can't find it because it's buried beneath fear and insecurity. Maybe it's buried beneath comparison. But what I do know is if you have a dream that is buried, it is waiting to be uncovered through action, through courage, and through becoming. Your dream isn't something you discover, it's something you become. This is part 1 of our Dream Chaser series. I'm glad you're here. Let's do it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the myth of waiting for clarity. We've been sold a myth that is beautiful but paralyzing. And that is the myth that your purpose will just strike you like lightning. That one morning you'll just wake up, pour yourself some coffee, start making you some pancakes with the crispy edges. What y'all know about those crispy edges though? Listen, there's God in those edges. Make sure your pancake have crispy edges. But we've been sold this idea that the clouds will part and you will hear God say,
"This is it. This is what you were born to do."
But dreams don't work like that. They're not mystical downloads. They are often progressive discoveries. And one of the things that we have to establish is you don't get clarity before you move, you get clarity because you moved. Think of a foggy morning drive. You can't see the end of the road from your driveway. But as soon as your wheels start turning, the fog starts to clear inch by inch. So it is movement that makes vision visible. And in waiting for clarity, you are delaying the season designed to develop you. And so you can sit there and keep waiting for the right calling to show up. You can take personality tests, try to figure yourself out, journal about finding your purpose, start mapping out business ideas. And all of that is good, but we can't get it mixed up in our brains that preparation for the thing is the same as doing the thing, because you can prepare forever. And for many, the clarity we seek is on the other side of the obedience that we're ignoring. It's not about planning. It's not about perfect timing. It's about obedience, faith, and movement. And whenever you start moving, you start doing the small, uncomfortable things consistent, the dream begins to take shape. And I want you to remember this thought. Clarity is a gift reserved for those who walk anyway, even when it's dark, even when it's scary. Purpose starts with becoming and not just achieving. We often confuse the dream with the outcome. We think the dream is the book deal, the platform, the followers, the success. And yes, that's a part of it, but that's just the surface. Because the dream isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process. And before any dream can be fulfilled in your life, it must first be formed in your identity, the way you see yourself and the actions you take on the daily. I think a fair question to ask is, if your dream fell in your lap tomorrow, would you be ready? Would you have the self-discipline to sustain it? Would you have the character to protect it? Would you have the emotional resilience to keep showing up when the applause stops? And these are the questions that I not only pose to you, but these are the questions that I've had to ask myself. Because success is heavy. It's weighted, should I say. And if your identity isn't strong enough to carry it, you'll collapse under the weight of the very thing that you thought you wanted. You see it happen all the time. People get what they prayed for and then they sabotage it. And they sabotaged it not because they wanted to, but because their identity wasn't strong enough to sustain it. So maybe your delay isn't punishment, but it's to give you time to prepare. I think about the story of David in the Bible. He was anointed to be king as a teenager, but he didn't sit on the throne for years. Why? Because he had to be forged in the wilderness, fighting lions, facing rejection, learning humility. And that wasn't a waste of time, that was identity formation. It wasn't the throne that made David the king. His time in the fields did. And I talk about identity a lot because identity shapes destiny. You will never outgrow your identity. You might have big dreams, but if you see yourself as unworthy, not enough, just average, you'll sabotage the very thing that you were meant to steward. And you've seen this play over and over again in business, in relationships. And the reason this happens is your subconscious will always protect your current identity. So even if you say, I want more, if deep down you don't believe that you're the kind of person who deserves more, your actions will shrink to fit your belief system. And that is why dream chasing doesn't start with strategy. It starts with self-image. And so before we ask, what should I do? We have to ask, who should I become? Before we seek out a new opportunity, we have to ask, what beliefs do I need to release? Because purpose isn't a path you find, it's a person you grow into. Think of someone who wins the lottery. Suddenly, they have millions. But research says that 70% of lottery winners end up bankrupt in a few years. Why? Because their outer world changed, but their inner identity didn't. And our lives will always reflect what we believe. So again, you don't grow into your dream, you grow into yourself. So take a moment and write down the question, who am I becoming on the way to my dream? Write it down and you can go back to it after this video. But what the question is asking is, what's shifting in me? Is my discipline deepening? Is my mindset maturing? Is my character catching up? Because when your identity is unclear, your dream will remain blurry. Sometimes, the most powerful part of chasing a dream is discovering the parts of you that had to be reborn along the way. In me, there was some insecurities that had to die. There were some lies that I had told myself that had to be confronted. There were some false identities that I had to break. And that is where real transformation happens. That's where peace is built. That's where the dream becomes more than outcomes. It becomes an expression of who you are. So if you're in a season where the dream feels blurry, whether you're in the in-between, between who you've been and who you're becoming, hear me clearly. Don't chase the outcome. Become the person your dream requires. Because every dream comes with a version of you that it demands. Every open door comes with new resistance. Every new level comes with a new weight and responsibility. And every breakthrough comes with a battle that you win internally first. So the question is, are you building that version of you now? Because the sooner you step into that version, the clearer the dream will become. What part of your identity are you working on becoming right now? Drop it in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to talk about something that no one escapes: resistance. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.